are back. Number 10, SharkNation Live number 10. Jason and I here. We've got Ryan Tisi with us today. How's it going, my brother?
Doing well, doing well. How you guys doing?
Living the
Welcome,
dream.
welcome.
Thank
It's
you.
your
Thank you for
birthday
having me on.
today. It's your birthday.
That it is. That it is. Thank you.
Working on
Yeah,
your birthday. Happy
Do you
birthday.
realize what I had to do to bribe him to get him here on his birthday? He wants steaks, and I guess they shave off the steak, and he's gonna eat like a champ tonight.
I
I
like it.
had to
Only the
bribe him to
best.
get on
Only the best from Jay.
I like it. So, for those who are watching, well, you might find out Ryan, Jason, and I are really good friends. We've become good friends over the years. But on top of that, Ryan is a killer solo agent, like 250 homes sold in 5 years. I think one of the most elite solo agents I know. I mean, you just get it done, man. So, talk to me about what it's like now, kind of being in the business 5 years. Like, you get into this business and want to have success, and now you've kind of not just done it, but repeatedly done it, right? It's like, what does that feel like having stability a little bit, right?
I would say before you go into that, though, why don't you start from the beginning, kind of like a little bit of a background on what you were doing and how you even, got into real estate as a,
You see this, Jason?
Oh man, we're
You know what you're messing with right now?
we are.
Sponsored by
I'm going off.
Celsius.
I'm going off.
Oh, number 2, sponsored.
For sure, yeah. All right, so yeah, like where you started, thoughts and thoughts, and what was in your mind to where you are today. Yeah, what's that look like?
No, for sure. So, yeah, previously, Verizon background, sales. So switched over to Verizon, from Verizon here. I had like a 2-year break pretty much, and then came over to real estate. I hurt my ankle. I can't sit still, so can't sit still at all. So during that injury, keeping my leg up, I just got my real estate license, and dove in, head first. And first couple showings driving, have my boot on.
The first time I ever met him, right? It's like snowing out, shitty Pennsylvania weather, and we're going to Beach Mountain. It's like a gated community here, right? And I think you were like hosting an open house for me or something, or grabbing a sign in the lockbox or something that I had to give him. And he like comes out and he's like basically crippled. He has like the boot on, like it's like a steep driveway. I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, when I say boot, it's because when you injure your foot or ankle, they give you this massive, boot looking thing. That's what you have to wear. So you wear one shoe and one boot. And the boot's always like this, so the boot's always tall and it's fun. But, I'm a hustler. I get it done, no matter what I do,
sure.
I make it happen. So Jay's first time meeting me was a good insight for him to see what kind of person I am. There's no excuses, we're going to get it done, period. So boot or no boot, crutch or no crutch, it is what it is. I mean, we got it done.
For sure. So, but before you met me, you not, I wouldn't say like not a scam, but you kind of didn't have the like everything that was told to you kind of wasn't up front. Like you were in a call center and like all that kind of stuff. Like how did that work?
So when I worked at a call center?
Well, right when you were trying to transition, once you first got your license with the team.
Yeah. So where I worked prior was just like, you talking about the part-time job I did for a little bit, the call center?
No. The when they wanted to come in and cold call those scripts.
Oh man. Yeah.
I remember everything.
Yeah. So before I joined up with EXP, there was another brokerage out there. I kind of did cold calling, like training basically for a couple weeks before I had my license in. They said, hey, you can come on in. I researched, I joined up an awesome team it was, but after going through some of the training, I realized like I'm doing 99% of it. And for me, I like to dive in and get it done. So I just sat down with, the person in charge and asked them. I was like, "Hey, I need more money on my side." And he's like, "That's not how it works." And as I was driving, to and from this place, I was listening to podcasts. I'm a firm believer if you're doing a career change or you're diving into something, you have to go full throttle, all elements. So you're not listening to music, you're listening to podcasts, you're becoming familiar with the language, terminology, everything across the board. You got to dive in head first, so you're not tapping your toe in. So I kept hearing EXP, EXP. And I'm like, this sounds too good to be true. This sounds way too good to be true. Everything people keep saying. So even before I joined, I called probably about 7 to 8 agents because I figured you can't call brokers. It's like calling a manager at a place. Of course, he wants you to come work for you. It's going to be easy. You got to call the boots on the ground. So I
Right.
spoke to, 7, 8 agents, Jason being one of them, when I was going through, trying to choose if I even wanted to do this and to see if the numbers were actually real, right? Because it's too good to be true. Like that's what you're talking about, Jay, like a scam almost. That's how I felt. So I'm like, it feels too good to be true. Something has to like click. And now I'm 5 years in and nothing has ever clicked where it was like, oh, that was the trick. It has all lived up to the hype and it's been what it's supposed to be. But talking to those agents, I vibed very well with Jason, and obviously I went with him as my sponsor. We were in line with a lot of investing. He was where I wanted to be. He was an agent. He was from our area, and he also watched. He also watched some football. So I was like, you know what? That's perfect for me. It's like, hey, not only could we vibe well on work, he has some of the same interests, hobbies as me. So like, it's cool. So I went that route. Never hung my license at that other brokerage. I've only ever hung it with EXP. Yeah. So and it's been great. It's definitely been great.
The thing I like about you the most is, you really research the hell out of everything before you kind of make a jump. And kind of, when we first talked and I was telling him how everything worked and everything, he's like, all right, man, this better be kind of what you say it is. I'm like, look, if it's not, the worst thing that happens is, yeah, he's going to pound my ass. He's being, but it costs you $10 to switch your license to a different broker.
Yeah. So it was definitely the right decision. Looking back, it's definitely the right decision for me and what I've accomplished. Touching on what Chad asked earlier, can you repeat your full question?
Yeah, well, I think I was looking more from the production side. I mean, I think it's well, before I even get to that, I think what you hear is what people should listen for is the no excuses type deal thing that's in there. It's just like when you do something, you're all in, you shut the music out, you listen to the podcast, you take it seriously, and I think regardless of brokers and all that stuff, I think that's such a big thing in real estate is like you're not getting paid per hour to sit and go through the motions. You are betting on yourself. So what do you want to stack the odds in your favor, or do you want to just leave it up to chance, right? And you're a type of person that fits that the right mold for that out the gate. That's why you've had the success, and I think I share some of those qualities. So I think that's this place rewards that, and hopefully, if you're not that type of person, you realize that quickly into this. If you're listening to this show and you become that type of person, because that's what it is. I mean, it's a bet on yourself. Yeah, there's ways to get the information and do some things in podcasts, YouTube, brokerage, mentor, coach, team, blah 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 blah. There's tons of ways to get that information, but it all comes back to you and what daily activity you put in and what excuses you're going to let have happen. So I listen to that and I go, that's somebody that just scoured all the information, found the right fit, did the work, got the results. So where I was coming was, what does it look like? Like, what was from a production standpoint, what was your thoughts and concerns and vision of how it would be once you arrived at having like a 50 sale year, and to when now you do, like what was the thought of how it would be versus the reality of how it is, right?
Yeah. And that's another thing I wanted to be at where Jay was when I was signing up. Because he told me about all the deals he has pending. I'm like, man, I need to get there. Like that's where I want to be at. So getting there, uh, it's a learning experience. Getting there, learning your own cap. And what I mean by that is how many deals you can handle personally without making mistakes on timelines until you fine tune it and add the right tools or hire the right positions. You figure out your own cap, and everyone has their own cap, no matter who you are. Listen, you might have a high cap, you might have a low cap, whatever it is, you'll figure it out when you look and see if you made mistakes. If you have no time yourself, you're stressed, then you're hitting your cap. You have to utilize and either add tools or add an admin or a TC to your bag. So going through that to hit what I hit, we've added tools, we've added an admin. We have the right pieces in place to be able to sustain going 50 plus deals. And I don't know what the new cap is. I haven't really done it. We'll see, maybe this year we'll see. But I haven't really hit that new cap. What I have in place, it's sustains it and goes, but it's work, so.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, I think you find I've seen that from my perspective. You see some agents, it's 10 or 20 deals, like that's their cap. Like they whether they have a lot of kids responsibilities or volunteerism or whatever it is. Some people, and then some people they live and breathe it. They can sell 100 on their own with nobody. That's insane. It's a lot. It's generally 30 to 60. It seems like most people fall into that range. But it is a big deal, and you're right. Like you hit that level when you've got to find leverage, and leverage doesn't just exist. It's not, there's no leverage in a box, or like it's not just buyer agents or just TCs or just this or that. There's no, like, it depends on where your strengths are, right? Like what your core competencies are.
And to touch on that though too, you mentioned like people could do 30, 60 deals. I mean, I think I did 62 that year and I didn't have anybody, and I'm fine with it. But then looking back and having the right tools in place now, I do the same, right? Close to it. And it's like, I have a lot more time. I have a lot more time back. So I didn't have those things in place prior. I got it done because I'm going to get it done. But I was up late, 2 a.m. doing paperwork, up early doing paperwork. It's nonstop. It's, hey, I'm getting this stuff done, planning my schedule, mapping out where I'm going to be efficient with my time on my showings. Now I could produce the same, but I have so much more time back, captured back. So those agents out there doing that and 30 to 60 deals, they're doing it on their own. They should really try to implement another piece there to see how much time they get back. Not saying they can't do it, because it's proven we can do it. If you're doing it, you get it done. But the reward is different and the feeling's different now doing it. The last 2 years I've had an admin. It's completely different lifestyle. So yeah.
I was gonna say, so I've known you for a long time, and delegation, wasn't one of your strong suits to start. You were that guy. I was that guy. I'm sure Chad was that guy. That's like,
I was.
Only I could do everything. I could do it. I do it the right way, and this is it. And it's like, talk to people about how you kind of overcame that, and that struggle as far as kind of letting go and teaching and training and getting to maybe your admin where you wanted her to go, or him wherever you wanted to go. But and kind of that hiring process and all that for agents that might be in your boat, right? You have so many transactions and it's just getting a little overwhelming, and at some point it doesn't get fun, right? It's like, man, maybe I want a 9-to-5 job. At least I could, I have my nights and weekends and all that kind of stuff. But when you start delegating and you free up that time, it's like you could be more productive. Touch on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's having the right people around you to push you in the right direction. I have 2 of them on here now, and a couple others that aren't on here now. And, speaking to you guys, these other people, that's the right move, even if it was completely out of my comfort zone. Because like you said, not that I'm the only one that can do it. I just know that I'm going to do it and get it done. There's not going to be no lag time. I get an email. Okay, this has to be done. Addendum out. No, that's That's just, how I worked. It's just that simple. So to have that, and give that up to someone is because, you guys pushed me, other people pushed me to do it. And I'm happy, I'm thankful, So I think surrounding yourself with the right people, is huge, especially in this industry. Surround yourself with people who have done it, who've already created the path. Um, they've already taken on the experience and the bad experience and saying, hey, this is the route you should go. And then also hiring was, utilize some referral hiring from multiple people. And, it all depends what you want that person to do, that admin. And that person who's going to get hired is, you only know that as an agent of what you need from them. Only you know that, because my admin doesn't do what your admin does, right? We have two different kinds of admins. I know the strengths I need my admin for me. And just like yours, you have your strengths with your admin, because I still enjoy doing some of the work.
I think the hardest part is, and here's the thing: when you get that email that comes in, you either hit reply or you hit forward, right? It's easy to hit reply and take care of everything yourself. It's not as easy to hit forward, and it's not that you're passing it off, but delegating that work to somebody so you could focus on more, dollar productive activities.
Yeah.
Wheels are turning on.
And I think if you step back to where we were, how I said, you have to be. It's a bet on yourself, and somebody who takes no excuses, stack the odds in their favor. That's the type of person that can succeed in this business when they hit that success, 30, 40, 50, 60, when they hit that cap, to bring it full circle, like, then they have to have a different skill set, a skill set of delegation, some skill set of leadership. Delegation, I glossed over it a lot, but I had so much trouble at first with that. I mean, Bill Chamberlain on my team, if he's ever listening or watching this, he'll know. I wouldn't let him do anything. I'd call him like, no, I'm getting the lead. I'm going to do that. I'll do it all. And but what happens is they never actually learn how to do it. If you just like it creates an extra job, and that, like, so if you're not gonna get uncomfortable and try it, like, don't even go there. If you know you're at a place where you can't hold, you're gonna have to get a little uncomfortable, pass some things off, see some things break that you don't want to watch. Like, it's gonna suck. As long as you fix it up and get it together, it'll work. And for me, like, I had like a spot check. I always say it was every time I'd go on vacation, we'd see what the hell fell apart. That's where I knew. That's where I knew where I was needed and where I wasn't.
True test, right? If your business operates while you're not there, like, I'm going to Florida tomorrow, or no, Friday. We'll go hang out and get some work done and stuff like that. But is everything going to flow the way I need it to? While you're got? And that's the true test, right? And nobody's perfect with it. Everybody's kind of tinkering with it and trying to figure it out as it goes. Like, I don't want to sit on some perch. Like, me and Ryan were at the same boat, and I was doing everything myself, and he was doing everything himself. And I'm like, let's split an admin. And that's how we first got, like, our first admin. And it was like, originally we're just like, that's way too much volume for just like one person. We kind of learned the ropes pretty quick, but it was like, I'll take her, you find your own.
Yeah, I mean, we were pushing. We were pushing. I mean, that year or two, I mean, you did like 75. I had like 60 some. And dude, I mean, for one admin, I don't care who. I think that's a little too many. And I mean, for me, I'm needy. Like I said before, when I work, I want it done.
You just don't have Dennis. You just don't have Dennis. He'll rock 100 deals, man. But I mean, well,
there are unicorns out there.
It's the systems and processes, but well, that's a good point. It's like, I think systems and processes I'm great at. Where and like you said, let's not sit on a perch. Leadership, like, I am not great. I'm probably, I guess, probably more of a salesperson. I like things that go smooth. I like yeses, and when you do that as a team leader, you say yes to what they want. Yes, you don't have to prospect today. Yes, and you create this environment of people who want what you have but don't do what you do. So like even though I could set up systems and processes, fantastic, but when it came to teaching them what moves the needle for me, what I do behind the scenes, like I sold it. It's like, yeah, I do this but I don't talk about the fact that I was scraping away last night or I was hustling out for the 2 minutes I had free to just grab water because I couldn't breathe after the 10 point. Like, I don't like all the like nitty gritty. I'm trying to say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, yeah, we've got a system, follow the system and you'll be good. So, and that's something where I've screwed up and realized I've needed to bring other leaders in place to help fill my gap, So, but I think with you, Ryan, I mean, yeah, it's well. I want to shift it because what else I wanted to get in here today is I wanted to shift over to you as an investor, not necessarily even just in real estate, just everything. You mean look at your investment in your real estate career, choosing EXP. It's that same process that you did when you looked at anything, whether it's another business venture opportunity relative to real estate or a rental. Like what? That's unique to you. Like I'm not as good as you with that, right? So like what is your secret flavor there that gets you to where
first of all, Chad, I know you're a smart guy, so I know you just don't have any effort towards it, right? That's it. If you put effort towards it, you would crush it. First of all,
you said we have to keep him accountable. We told him he was supposed to have that on his 2024 goal list too.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll talk after the show.
So it's for me, it's just because there's so many ways. I work with a lot of different types of investors. I surround myself with a couple investors as well, Jason being one of them, and ask them what their strategy is, right? And you have to find something that works well for you and what your goal is. If you go into, looking at properties without a goal, it's not going to work out for you. You're going to have deals fall through. You may not buy. You may buy and then just sell. You're accepting, there's a couple things you accept right off the gate. You accept 12 a.m. call, furnace going out, right? We're in Northeast Pennsylvania. You down in Florida might have to accept the 12 a.m. air conditioning not working. These are things you accept being a landlord, because if it was easy, everyone would do it. And then for me, I look at numbers. It has to hit a certain number for me for it to work. If it hits that number, cash flow after all my expenses are paid, I'll go through with it. And I'm also in it for the long term. I'm not doing this for 2 years, 3 years. I'm in it for 20, 30 years from now. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at a 2-3 year, numbers. I want the 20, 30 year numbers. So, that's just kind of my formula. There's so many ways to do it. Like I said, I work with a lot of investors and they have some crazy ways to do it. So there's some simplistic ways, and then there's some crazy ways. Mine's pretty simplistic, just certain amount for cash flow per door, and that's what I focus on.
So
well, you know what I mean? Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, so Ryan's being modest, right? So I have to kind of take the reins on him a little bit, because like he'll fix and flip and sell anything. Like he has like he'll be hustling cards, like selling cards. He'll be selling sneakers. I'm like, yo, man, you gotta focus on what you're doing. He's like anything that he could like get like a deal on, and he'll be putting on like Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, man, you just did all this work and you made like $50. He's like, he just likes the hustle, right?
I do enjoy it. That's a fact.
Does. He loves the whole game of investing in anything. But what would you say, and not just to Chad or but somebody that's kind of been thinking about it for a while, they know the numbers, they kind of got an idea what they're looking to, but they just can't make that initial jump to, buying their first rental property. Especially touch on like being an agent, right? Where you're kind of already in the weeds and you're kind of behind the scenes, like the advantages that you have as being an agent and an investor, and just some of the different opportunities that may pop up.
Yeah. So being an agent is, whenever you're in your professional career and there's an opportunity, you're usually the best one to have it, right? So in real estate related, we're realtors, we usually have the best option at it. So my first investment property was actually a listing. I had it under contract twice. fell out twice. I presented it to like 5 different investors. Every single one of them was like, "Oh, no way, I can't." The house needed just some flooring, really, and not even. It's pretty much turnkey. They did the repairs throughout those 2 being under contract, and after sitting on market, I was like, "You know what? I think I'm ready." I spoke to Jay about it, ran numbers. I was a little nervous, really nervous actually, um, and went and bought it. And that's how I got my first one. But it was because I'm a realtor. I'm in it. I was able to have that insider look at it. And if I showed that to an investor just with numbers, they would take it in a heartbeat, especially now, right? But they didn't want it before. Once they went there, saw it, they're like, "Oh, I don't want it." And I was a little confused by it, a little taken back. But I guess a lot of people only invest in the area that they know, I would say. Um, but as far as someone who's thinking about taking the plunge on investing and doing it, it's scary. It's normal to feel that way. It's out of your comfort zone. And we all know people don't like to get out of their comfort zone. You get to a point where sight unseen offer, it might happen. I never thought I would do that ever, but I have multiple times. And it's just going off numbers and looking at, certain things on the photos, reading the data and saying, okay, you know what, that makes sense. I'm going to do it because I wanted to win out on those houses. But yeah, if someone's sitting around thinking about kicking it, obviously reach out to a realtor, send them the numbers, talk to them about it. See if it makes sense, because you have to know how to break it down, cash flow, net versus gross. You have to know that stuff. But I would say if you're going to commit to it, go all in, listen to some good podcasts for investors. Accept the fact that you're going to have issues. If it was easy, everyone would do it. It's not easy. I had pipes bust over the past weekend because we had 5-degree weather. Is what it is. I had to get someone in there, fix it right away. It's no matter what I had planned that day, it didn't matter. Someone's living there. It's my responsibility. So, you got to commit to it and go all in. That's what I would tell them.
Yeah, I would say this too. Like, what kind of problems do you want to have in your life? Do you want to have small problems and not kind of have that kind of risk and reward, or do you want to have some of these bigger problems, like, oh, there's a leaky toilet. Oh, I don't want to fix it. It's like, look, I have like a bunch of multifamily properties. I don't fix anything. I don't know how to fix it. I'll pay for it. I don't want that learning curve. I don't want any of that. So you can outsource a lot of the stuff that you don't like, and then still, like you say, get around people that you can learn, the ropes with, so you could, bounce ideas off of and see if it's a good fit. But, when I talk to a lot of first-time investors, I say, if you buy it right, there's really not a lot of risk that you can have. What's the worst-case scenario? You hate it and you have to sell it. If you buy it right, you're always going to recoup your money or make money. You have a bad tenant, okay, so how much is a complete renovation of an apartment? Maybe a couple $1,000, depending on damage and stuff like that. I mean, those are like the very extreme examples. For the most part, I like to get it and set it and forget it. As long as everything's running right, I like fixing them up nice. Everything's good to go. You get a good person in there. They're paying the rent on time, and then it's like, anything comes up, you send it to people that know how to fix it.
Yeah, well, and I think you see the principles in this too. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to commit. You have to go all in. You have to. It's not easy. Everybody would do it. It's just those are all principles that exist with anything. Not it's the same as real estate. But and that's something I tell a lot of agents too. When you come in and you learn all this stuff, you're going to be able to take this knowledge and at minimum make a smarter choice when you buy a house. So like, the failure rate's high in the real estate industry. But one nice thing is if you are one of the 80-something% that fail, you still can take that knowledge and either use it to invest or make a smarter decision for yourself. And that's the cool part about real estate is there's just so many angles you can play with the knowledge you gain from this business, whether it's in life or in other, real estate aspects, right?
Well, think about it this way, right? How many houses have you walked into?
So, all right. So, what's your conquest now, Ryan? You've got a stable business for yourself. What are you looking to hit next
Mhm.
in your world?
um, it's a constant battle with improving what I'm currently doing, um, to make it more fluent. So it's just a constant battle with that. I mean, I'm looking to keep where I'm at unit wise, looking to continue to invest, gather more units. Honestly, that's kind of my goal work wise is just, I know a lot of people always want more and more and more units to sell. Where I'm at is comfortable, and as long as I can keep purchasing more rentals, that's my real goal. And maintain my current real estate business, but kind of make it the most efficient it can be.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So, you know, investing, like I said, it's when you go into some of these houses, and you're seeing house after house after house, when the good ones come up, they stick out like a sore thumb. I have so many clients of mine, I'm sure you guys too, when you say, hey, look at this is the one, you know, they take your word on it because how many that you see that aren't the greatest. And I'll tell my clients flat out, like, hey, look at no, this something's up with this one or whatever, we're walking or whatever, But then some of them I'm like, look at, like I was just in one right before, that's why we had to postpone this one. Mint. Like when I tell you mint, it's like it stuck out like a sore thumb. It was like gorgeous. I'm like in love, but so if my guy doesn't want it, I might buy it. But like you said, and like you said, Chad, if you're an agent, just getting that experience of seeing house after house after house, and even if you only buy your house, you'll know based on the ones that you saw which is a good deal or not, and then use that for your advantage. So even if it, like I said, the career as an agent doesn't work out, you still have some value, and you could still recoup that investment. Um, I guess my last question for you, Ryan, is, you do investing, you have your agent business. We have a couple different business side businesses together. Talk to agents about, what's your thoughts on having multiple streams of income? My thought is like, you know, say something like 2020 happens and everything gets shut down. You know, think of it as having a scuba mask on and you only have one tube in your helmet, right? If that tube gets pulled away, you're not doing so hot, right? But if you have these multiple streams of income and multiple streams of oxygen coming in, like I like to foolproof the recession, right? And I always say like plan for like a golden parachute in case something happens, you're covered. What's your thoughts on like kind of multiple streams of income and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in it. Even if you're not an agent, you work a W-2 job or, you're 1099 somewhere else. I mean, I'm a firm believer in it, but it also comes down to comfort level, where some people are comfortable with their lifestyle. They may have a high paying W-2 job and that's all they want. They want the standard, the regular system. Um, I'm irregular, right? I like multiple streams. I like to do it differently. Like to partner up on things. I think more minds on one thing is better than just me, because we have different points of views, different skill sets, different contacts, which are all valuable going into a business. Um, but I'm an advocate for multiple streams. So, I'll touch on rental income, commission income, agent downline income from EXP, and then we have a couple side businesses that deal with utilities. It's a couple things that we have multiple streams of income in. So I'm a believer in it. And if you're not involved in multiple streams, you get after it. If it's one of your passions, or if you have an itch to do it, do it. So
So for somebody just getting started, like maybe what are some avenues that you didn't think that would be open to you as an agent that, kind of, popped up, and, that if you're an agent and you only have your real estate commission income, like what's some things that they should be thinking about that, can help set them apart?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, well, not every brokerage offers what EXP has with a downline. So if you're not with a downline type of agency, I'd focus on utilities. There's ways to make money on utilities out there. Title. There's ways to make money on title out there. Um, there's certain ways you can partner with lenders and get marketing paid for. It's kind of like a stream of income if you're getting half your marketing paid for, right? Um, it's kind of what I would focus on. Would be, again, real estate related. You can go non-real estate related if you'd like to, but I'm going to stay real estate related. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a lot of times agents don't realize like all the different things that we're involved in, between moving and title and lending and,
Yeah.
the
So I got to touch on it because I'm
landscaping,
dying.
all that kind of stuff.
I'm dying over here. Yeah, here's the thing though. Everybody hears multiple streams of income. An average millionaire has 7 streams of income, but most of them built it off of a solid one or two before they branched out. So, and I said, I was talking to an agent earlier today, and they're in a state border where there's 3 states, and they're like, I can get my license in all 3 states. They haven't sold a single house yet. They haven't even gotten licensed yet, and they're talking about 3 different states. I said, I'm going to tell you, I've seen this a ton of times. I know where you're at. I know agents that want to get licensed in those other states. You're going to spend all your time, focus, effort, and energy on all that stuff. And you're never going to sell a damn house. You're going to hate this business and you're going to quit in 6 months to a year. That's what's going to happen. Sell 20 houses a year in your one state, then talk about it. And Hermosi does a really good job explaining this, where if you were pouring water into a cup, right? If you were trying to pour it into 7 cups, you see what would get into the cups. Suppose if you just poured it into one, once you fill it up, when the overflow comes and you catch it, right, you have enough business to justify utilities, title, lender partnerships that are RESPA compliant and all that good stuff. So, I've been guilty at times of believing the myth of you got to have multiple streams of income. Like, I guess I shouldn't say the myth, but just the fact that you think you should start it out the gate. I think that the thing is focus is more important than multiple streams. So you've got to build a strong foundation first before it's worth branching out. And then on top of that, if you're still in build mode and you're going to add a stream, if it's going to distract you from what you're building, you're going to start, that foundation is going to start to crumble because you didn't put a roof on that. So that's my 2 cents. I had to interject it in because I feel it's important, because I think it's relevant. Like, I mean, you guys are successful. We all have some multiple streams here. Like, we're not, it's not like nobody has it, but I think there's a big fixation on that, and people go to it before they're ready to go to it. So build a stable house before you put on the addition.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, all 3 of our core businesses in real estate sales, right? And then everything else is kind of ancillary out of that with, just some of the offerings that we have for different business relationships. But like I said, yeah, foundation first, or else, you don't want to be trying to do 7 different things all at one time. I just want to kind of let people know, like, look, there's different opportunities, especially as you grow, opportunities present themselves that, maybe some agents that are successful don't even think about, because they're just kind of stuck at that like small mom and pop shop. And it's always like, okay, I just want to keep selling and selling and selling and selling until you die. And it's like, in our business, there ain't no retirement plan. The inside joke is, did you ever go to a real estate agent's retirement party? No. Yeah, right. So it's like, you got to kind of think about it. Do you want to be out there like with your little name badge on and you're 85 years old showing houses? Planning for the future, I think, is important. And I know I'm older than both you punks, but I'm not ready for retirement yet.
I like it.
I'll be at your party, Jay. Don't worry.
I will have the first agent retirement party.
All right. We'll see. We'll see.
Might be in a couple of years. We'll see.
I like it. Good stuff. Well, Ryan, I appreciate you coming on, man, on your birthday.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Kind of person you are, man. I love it. I love the work. I appreciate the friendship and the partnership and all of the above. Looking forward to seeing you here in the Caribbean and Little under a month, man.
Soon.
Birthday, marriage. I mean, you got a lot going on for sure.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
gonna need some time off. But one
I'll
of the
take
things
wedding day off.
one of the things I want to just chime in before we let him off the hook is that Ryan is super competitive, right? So like I get Icon in like 5 months or something like that, and Ryan had to beat me out and like get it in like 4 months or something like that. And then he keeps track of beating me on like monthly sales volumes. Like if I did 100 push-ups, he would do 101 and just like spit at me.
It's friendly competition, you know.
But it's good if you can handle it. If you're not mentally stable enough to be able to handle competition, then go to therapy. But if you can handle it, it will push you to be further. You know, I mean, to do more. Like that's what's good about it, and that's what I love about it. I
I
love
think
watching.
it works all well with all three of us. I think that's a good vibe for us that we just like, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, all right, I can't sit in my jammies and watch Sports Center all morning. I got to get up and get after it.
We all have motivation, okay?
Oh,
We all have motivation, so
There
hey,
you
buddy.
say hi. Say hi,
What's
Jay.
going on?
Hi, Chad.
Hey, buddy.
Say hi, Chad.
He's got it.
Yeah,
He's not
We
kidding.
all have motivation that keeps us going, you know,
we
competitive.
definitely have the
So.
cutest guest on our podcast so far, for sure.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it, man. Well, Ryan, we'll let you get back to it. Let you get back to Link there, and we'll see y'all here soon.
Sounds
all right,
good.
guys. Take
Thanks,
care.
guys. See ya.